All right, well, it's always interesting to see some of the happenings in the world around us and in our society. There is one such happening going down tomorrow at Alliance Boys High School, a career fair put on by Hot 96. And we have lots of people who are involved in the making of this career fair. So we'll get to know a little bit more about what's going on. I'd like to introduce our guests in studio. I'll start on my right here. Mr. Nicholas Olondege, who's the Deputy Principal of Alliance High School. Welcome to Power Breakfast. Familiar face once again. My girl Monique Kabuye is here from Hot 96. Good to see Monique. Next to me is Wambui from Elani. And of course we'll also be finding about your involvement in this. And finally Mr. Bernard Mosetti, who is the Program Officer at Sexual Reproductive Health and Rights Alliance.
Thank you.
A mouthful there, but I think I got that in. All right, so the career fair is happening tomorrow at Alliance. It's really exciting. Lots of different schools invited and chances for mentorship and much more. But just, you know, in the wake of what's happening in our schools right now, we're seeing unrest in schools, burning of schools. We're hearing stories in the news about alcoholism, about, you know, sexual misconduct. There's just so much negativity around our schools right now. So maybe, Monique, what was the idea behind having this career fair happen at this particular time?
First of all, it's not even about the timing of it. It's about the necessity to have a platform where children feel like they can be listened to, and also have access to role models. They have access to, you know, a good environment where they can actually let go and discuss these issues. And it's not just about schools being set on fire. This is one of many things that affect, you know, kids in school today. When we were growing up, there was talk about, you know, drug abuse and, you know, pregnancy in high school. That was like the talk of the town. But we decided as Hot 96 to just knowing that we are placed in the center of Kenya, you know, talking to young people, our audience is relatively young, we decided, you know what, we want to do something that will impact lives and that is memorable. The timing of this school fire thing, I honestly do not understand what's going on, but I feel like it's more than one issue. And no better station is best placed to discuss these issues in a safe environment where it's not judgmental than Hot 96. And of course Coca-Cola on board as well. So it's a really exciting platform because they can also speak. It's not about us going there to say, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. We need to change the conversation a bit and let them be heard.
Yeah, I think it's right for us to mention some of the sponsors who aren't represented here today. Like you mentioned, Coca-Cola, I believe NACADA and the Ministry of Health are also, or Ministry of Education, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, also involved in the planning of this career fair. So Nicholas, maybe we can talk about the climate in schools a little bit more as a Deputy Principal at Alliance. What's kind of the feel of what's happening in your school?
We are quite fine as a school. A little bit mesmerized by what is going around the country, and I think as Monique has said, you know, when when they came and approached us, by that time there's a lot of tranquility in school, and it was not necessitated. Whatever we are having is not necessitated by what is going around the country, but they said that when they came and we sat down, we were looking at a way of having a different type of career day. And this time you find that we have been having career days, but it has been a little bit exclusive, where you find it has been just targeting our students. And we said one of the problems we have is space, and they say we can provide space if we cooperate in this. And we said, okay, fine, let's open up to everyone. And I think it will be a very good opportunity for us to show what is happening on the other side of the coin, because there are quite a number of good things that are happening. The other time I saw a clip from Upper Hill School sending out an appeal to the other students, and also they are also coming, by the way.
And
that's an opportunity to say that there are so many good things that happen in our schools, but you see, at the moment the focus has been on the negative side. So at Alliance we are happy to share, and you know, at Alliance always we don't shy away from challenges, and this will be a good opportunity also to share what we do and open up, because of our long history of excellence, and I think also it will be an opportunity to reach out to the rest
of
the schools.
Ombre, I want to talk to you about your involvement in this because Elani has been pretty vocal on some social issues lately, taking stances publicly on social media and things like that. So maybe you can just speak to us about where you come in here.
Well, we are vocal because we do believe that as artists we are here to provoke thoughts. That's our main job. We believe that we do have a lot of influence, and we truly do see this when we visit these schools and see how much these kids look up to us. So that's an opportunity for us to do some good with that. And we are very honored to be part of the panelists this year to just further influence these kids and let them know that, one, it's never that serious. You don't need to burn a school to be able to be heard. Two, there are so many opportunities out here, but they need to be able to position themselves properly with the subjects that they pick. And we are fortunate enough to have completed our education up to degree level. So we are a bit experienced in that area. So we are looking forward to just letting them know that, one, it's never that serious. Two, they need to really do work hard to be able to provide themselves with endless opportunities so as to become anything and everything they want to be, because everybody deserves to be great, but we have to work together. We have to see the thing together. We have to be sensible in how we run and live our lives. So that's what we're hoping to be able to capture and to be able to leave them with at the end of the day.
Bernard, I think it's important to note that, you know, when we talk about a career fair, it's much more than just what's in the books. It's, you know, grooming these children as well-rounded individuals in the whole. So tell us a little bit about your involvement in what's happening tomorrow.
At the Alliance, a partnership of 17 organizations that have come together to endeavor the issues of sexual health and reproduction, to ensure that our young people grow holistically in terms of accessing information, in terms of ensuring there's an enabling environment and linkages to services, to issues of reproductive health. And we think this is the most opportune time that the career fairs come to enable our young people ask these questions within their lived experiences, and we provide the correct information to them in a way to steer the next generation from a guided point of view. Even as we talk about issues of schools, yes, but this is one of the ways that you can always have a wholesome growth of a person, and in unlocking the potentials that lie ahead of them within the context of what Ombre has spoken about.
So what is your message specifically to these students? Because a lot of us who just watch the news and gather our opinions from that, we're just hearing, you know, children in orgies and they run away from school to go do all these types of crazy sexual activities. So what specifically are you telling these kids that's going to change that around?
Yeah, I think from our own vantage point, we think from where we stand, not as an organization but as an intergenerational thing, is we look at them as a question of dissent. But at the same time, we need to counter this with dialogue. And that is why the career fair then is very important, that in every dissent there should be dialogue. And we need to listen to them. We need to speak their language and have conversations within their own very meaningful spaces and provide them spaces to speak. And once we internalize that, then we come with counter narratives on how best we can move forward.
All right, very, very important. Of course, as a society, as we're hearing all these stories about what's happening in schools, what do you think our responsibility is? Just as kind of onlookers, people saying, well, that's going on over there. Maybe you don't have a child in school at that point in time, but what responsibility do you feel like as a society we have towards students?
I think it is a collective responsibility, because you know, people always have this feeling that if it's not happening to me or somebody near me, then it's not my business. But I think it's high time that we need to treat it as a collective responsibility. Start from parenting, then it comes to we teachers. We need to also take our roles seriously, and of course we need to put structures in place which are followed strictly, because you find sometimes there are structures but people ignore, and when you do that, then you'll find that we'll be able to tame these matters, because at the moment what is happening is that there is a lot of reasons. We all have diverse reasons why this is happening, but we have one thing in common. and that is burning of schools. That's the common thing they have. But if you look at all those reasons, some of them have been, nearly all of them are true. Because when you talk of exam, there are students who are picked up because they have this fear of exam. That's why they are burning. There are people who have certain collapsed administrative policies in schools, where you find that students have been left on their own, and that also have played a role. There are issues of mismanagement, there are issues of disunity even in the management, and all these are affecting the running of schools. So I think that's what I say, you find even the community around there, because when you find a boy is going to buy a petrol, that petrol is going to be bought in a neighborhood. The person who is selling that and is selling it to a boy and or a girl and is not questioning, is not playing his role. So if that person, we can start and ask, why you buy petrol particularly, and you know there are structures that you cannot just go and buy petrol in any can, or it just be a special one. And if somebody comes with a jerry can, and because you are just interested in that money, and you just sell, and you see at the end of the day it's the same one that is used to burn dormitories, then you have failed there. So I think once we follow those ones.
Let's talk a little bit about what's actually going to be happening on ground tomorrow. I understand there are about 3,500 students expected from different schools. There's going to be universities represented, people, career professionals. Maybe Monique, you can just talk a little bit more about that.
First of all, we wanted to create a place where they can have the reality of life in their own environment, at their school, and have fun while they're doing it. So as Hot 96, we realized that we can actually invite all these people, and I think the message out there is people are willing to participate. People are very interested in being part of conversations like these. So it's not just about what happens at home or what happens at school, it's what the perception is of what happens in the world outside. 4 years is not a long time. 3 years is not a long time. Then they come into the outside world with all this advice and all this supposed expectation of what, they think they want to be. We're going to give them the real conversations, and we're going to engage them on their level. And as Hot 96, the beauty about the conversations we have online and through the music that we play, we've been invited not only at Alliance High School, but this is the first of the many that we're going to be doing across the country. So this is the very first. So I think it's also a message to everybody else who's listening right now. You can be part of it. So we will have entertainment. Oh, they love that. They love a good time. If you're going to keep them attentive, you have to have a good time. And of course, we're going to have different representatives, mentors, people who are just like them. We've been in school too, and this is how we turned out. So we're going to have a conversation about that, and it's an exciting thing. I think looking back, we wish we had things like that, where people would come to our schools and talk to us and keep it real. So, and it won't just be about us speaking to them. I emphasize on that. They will also have a chance to talk to us. Get into their minds a little bit. I think that's the most important part. And we'll also have a Q&A session, testimonials, from people who have that work-life balance. We're big on talent as Hot 96, so we also want to tap into that as well. So you may think, oh, I want to be a doctor, or I want to be this, or I want to be that. How about the work-life balance? There's a lot of frustration in regards to that, especially how they changed the system where the arts are not encouraged as such, which is quite unfortunate. So we're giving them a platform to express themselves, let go. They're going to be tasting the feeling, courtesy of Coca-Cola, and they're going to have a great time doing it. And I like that he's on board as well, from the SH.
Let me tell you.
We'll
do it again.
Yes, and it's part of some of the factors that hinder. We'll also talk about the things that can actually affect your journey towards, achieving your goals. So we're going to keep it real, but also not in an intimidating way.
Speaking of keeping it real, I'm just, rewinding back to my high school days and what life was like back then, a while ago.
Yeah.
But Bernard, do you feel like we kind of sweep a lot of these issues under the rug, especially when it comes to sexuality being in high school, just told these are things you should not do? So how real, you know, are these conversations going to get?
I think there's no contestation. Over time, as a society, we have always swept these things under the carpet. And this is informed by how we have been brought up and socialized. But things are now changing, and we are saying we need to speak these things to our children. And we are saying, yes, cultures and societies are the way they are, but we also know they're adaptive and they do change. And therefore, how do we respond to these changes? It's by starting to speak these things up, providing, for instance, in matter of sexuality, age-appropriate comprehensive sexuality education.
Exactly.
And as they grow up, which is a very, you know, confusing period of adolescence and comes with its own myths and comes with its own challenges, we need to be able to equip them with information and skills needed to navigate this turbulent period of life and emerge well.
Wambui, a lot of artists in this industry feel like their job is to sing and entertain and make money. Like, the buck stops right there. You guys have gone a step further as Alani. Do you see other Kenyan artists kind of following suit into what, you know, being just socially aware and speaking out as you all have been?
Well, I do hope so. I do hope that that's what the future holds for the industry, because, man, the influence that we have over these kids is ridiculous. And I like the conversations happening here, dialogue at their level, because that's exactly what they need. I mean, you've just said it. If you were to, you're thinking about your mindset when you're in high school. I mean, we could all appreciate that right now on this panel, because the people that we are right now are definitely not the people that were back then.
Thank God.
And I think if in Alani we truly do ask ourselves a lot, if I could go back, what would I have changed? What would I advise? What would I have advised myself back then? And it's in these small things that we're talking about. But back then they seemed like the biggest things, but right now we are older, we are wiser. Therefore, as you just indicated, in society, everybody does have a role, and that's why the African proverb does say it takes a village to raise a child. And we do have that responsibility in whatever area it is that we have chosen to take our career path, be it being a deputy head teacher, be it being a musician, be it being in the media. We all do have a role, just like the human being that wasn't supposed to sell petrol to that child who filled it in a jerry can. We all do have a role, and I truly do hope that at the end of the day, when all is said and done, artists do get to see the kind of influence they have, because it's truly immense and it can change lives. And that's why we're very excited to be part of this panel, because, I mean, to kids, we are cool. But when you're older, and when you're in branding, you don't look at it as being cool, but it's now influence. Question is, are you ready to do good with that influence, or are you ready to just only give yourself that influence and earn money and whatever? I mean, there's so many things that you can do, because right now, if you go to Alliance, I would say, oh, Alliance A, everybody put your hands up, and everybody would put their hand up. Question is, can I do Alliance A, Alliance A, and go like, how many people would like to be doctors? What grade did I mean, and start the conversation from there at their level, understand them. And I'm so glad that we do speak their language, and I'm excited that we will be able to have conversation at their level that will be life-changing, and that will, at the end of the day, make them sit down and ponder, is that really the decision that I want to make? Is that really who I want to be? Do I really want to go there? Because you can imagine, if we all thought like that, I think we'd be ourselves, but now on steroids. On another level.
And what is important, Joy, just to chip in what she has said, is yes, we can raise our hands in terms of how many people has A's, but it's also important to see how many hands, when you say character-wise, how many people have A's. And that is what is all about this career fair tomorrow. It's about having you score A's in academics, but at the same time in society.
Character,
you score A's.
Yeah.
And you combine the two, you come out perfectly.
Yeah. Well, in this day and age, I just want to touch on something because we're living in a digital age, and these kids are a lot more turned on than we were. We didn't have social media when I was in high school. These kids know things, you know, like they're open to social media and the internet, and they can do their own research. So how do you kind of balance their knowledge with what you're bringing to the table as all of the, you know, different institutions and such represented on these panels? How do you get on their level without, you know, them feeling like we already know that?
I think we have to understand that first, it's okay that that's happening. Yeah, and whenever people have that conversation and say, oh my gosh, there's just this and this, they're always on Snapchat. How can we use Snapchat in the best way? Michelle Obama is trying to campaign for kids to stay in school.
Right.
So some of these issues are not just in Kenya, not just in Africa. These are global issues. But working around that to ensure that Snapchat can be beneficial to you. So here's how we're going to use Snapchat. Here's how we're going to use Twitter. Here's how we're going to use our Instagram. Most of the hashtags that we're using, the conversations that we're having, even the people who would not be keen on using social media will have to jump on board. Why? Again, it's all about getting on their level. How cool are you? Do you have Snapchat? How cool are you? How many Instagram followers do you have? You know what I mean? So, and it's also a way to connect with them.
Right.
Accessibility. Yeah, even if they're in school, sometimes they feel that, you know, if I'm an Elani fan, if I send her a message, I'm frustrated in school, your song touched my, you know, I was inspired by it, and you don't tweet back, things like that, you know. So we need to understand that it's such a dynamic tool and use it for that.
Yeah.
We will emphasize on issues like that and get on their level because it is 2016. And I met a 15-year-old who, surprisingly, not all of them want to set schools on fire. Not all of them. And we need to not brand it that way. We need to not brand it as such. There's kids who just want to stay in school and they just want to, you know. So we're going to use that for them to be heard, to change the conversation. Hopefully after this career fair, we will be talking about other things and using that. Some of them are in boarding school. We can use social media to make sure that, you know, this is what happened at the career fair, even after the event is done.
Right.
So social media is a good thing.
Yeah.
It is.
As you're saying, there are, you know, students who are really just interested in you know, their futures and their careers and things like that. And there might be people watching who are various industry professionals, and as you're saying, these career fairs will be ongoing.
Yes.
People who want to maybe get involved in the future, come speak to these children, you know, just have that platform where they can come and share their experience. So how would you encourage that person who's interested in participating in the future?
As you know, I'm sure that, like on that day, there are also players, as it was advertised, you know, players in the industry that we are inviting from various fields. And when they come, even like Elani are going to be on board. One of the things that they are going to sensitize the students is that nothing comes easy. I'm sure, in fact, they are a very good example because you find that they have gone through schooling, they are graduates, and they are still singing. And there's no shortcut to success. And that's what these kids need to know. Because most of our kids nowadays think that I'll finish school, then get a shortcut, and there my BMW will be there
waiting for me.
So we invite, we have old boys, we as Alliance, we have several old boys who are also coming on board, and some of them are players in there. We have surgeons, we have lawyers, and all the, and when they come and talk to these people, even at a personal level, because sometimes you find after doing that presentation you have been seeing there, somebody would like to just have a chat with you, and that's the thing. You find that you find that you have touched somebody's heart and you've changed that student's life, and they eventually would say, now you see, if you want to become a lawyer, then you have to do this A and ABC. The other thing is also the players in the industry in terms of universities and colleges and all of that are coming to exhibit. The message is that we have those the so-called Ivy League universities in the world, and we have our local university, we have private, and we have the intermediate colleges. The idea is that we should not label anyone a failure, particularly the student. When a student gets a C, he's not a failure in life. I'm sure in his result slip, there is a C, the general grade, but you might find that maybe in English he has an A.
Areas that he's strong in.
I see. So can we now narrow into his niche and see if he can excel? And you'll find in the exhibition, there'll be a cause for that person. Probably he was just unwell when he was during that time.
Right.
We have seen sometimes when you are employing people, you find somebody didn't do very well in primary, come secondary, the person did so well, come university, somebody is graduating with first class honors. Even the greatest genius in this world, like Albert Einstein,
was not an A student.
Failures, you see.
Right.
So that's the message we're trying to
and it's a very positive message, and I'm sure a lot of people watching can appreciate how you guys are turning the conversation around. We're wrapping things up just quickly. I just want to start with some final comments. We'll start with you, Bernard. You know, best case scenario, everything goes according to plan tomorrow. What are you hoping to achieve at the end of the day?
I think what we aim to achieve at the end of the day is, you know, this is a generation that has been said before got rendezvous with the destiny. And for them to seize the moment and reach that destiny, they need to be guided. And ours is that tomorrow we'll be able to touch lives. And these lives will light other candles. You know, we are dealing with academy now, but we also hope that people in the academy becomes our champions to reach those out of school. And therefore we have a movement that will be speaking of the same values moving forward, and therefore generate that momentum. We also hope that parents will be able to send their students, their children, tomorrow to our career fair to listen and also get the message back home. So to me, this is a starting point. It has been done before. We are now gaining the momentum, and moving forward, this is what we want to push for. Yes.
Wambui, final comments from you?
I think as Alani would be looking to leave them with a sense of a fact, and I say this very strongly, a fact that they can be anything they want to be. And over and above being a successful human being, that they also do need to realize that they need to build their character, because if those two go hand in hand, then perfection is realized. So if we could leave them with that they should be hardworking, persistent, and that they can be anything that they want to be, and at the end of the day that is well combined with someone who has a good character, then that will ensure us that the next generation does have people that are interested in contributing to their societies and at the end of the day contributing to their country, because if we do give that mantle to the next generation, then our country is in safe hands. We will end up having good leaders, because we were part of UNCTAD several weeks ago, and we got to know that around 60 to 70% of Africa's population is the youth.
Wow.
And what's unfortunate about it is that the leaders in Africa are averagely around the age 60 to 70. We need to change that. Those are the people that will change that. So if you could leave them with a sense of that they can actually achieve that greatness, and whatever they see on social media, on TV, the Usain Bolts, the president, the guy who made Facebook, you know, they can be that. They just need to decide that for themselves and be good people.
And put that determination in them. Just very quickly, on behalf of Alliance, just in a minute, maybe you can wrap this up.
In behalf of Alliance, I would like to just say that we in Alliance, there is one policy that we believe in, and that is that candle does not lose in light by lighting others. It's a time that we're inviting everybody so that we can light the others, not the burning of the school.
Not the burning.
So we be careful with that, though.
And as you say, you spend a day with 5 billionaires, you're likely to be the 6th one. And come and share in this great story of success. I'm happy that we have. This is something that is so strange, is that you are saying you are an alliance of 17 organizations?
17 organizations.
And then there's Ilani that is not very far from Alliance. And then Alliance High School that was formed on 1st March 1926. This is the year 2016. We are celebrating our 90th anniversary.
Wow.
And we are celebrating also with the Hot 90.
It's all about
coming
So it will be a
together.
very hot
yeah.
career
Super Punk.
Because we want your final comment.
I love the puns, but as Hot 96, we also want to emphasize on it's not just about the entertainment and a good time. Yes, we want to impact lives. So we will have not just one, but several career fairs. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be one of those events which, as Hot 96, we hope to achieve to demystify the labels.
Yes.
And of course, put a little bit more esteem in these children, because we need to look at the backstory of why these things are happening. Not just school fires. We need to open our minds. And of course, as Hot 96, we are so excited. We're so thrilled. Shakes Kapianga is going to be there from Drop Zone County Assembly, and Coco Sobo. Trust me, kids will know who that is.
It's going to be crazy.
And he's going to be there as well. So make sure you come down to Alliance High School.
Yeah, so it's all happening tomorrow at Alliance High School, as you've heard, a very special career fair that I think is going to change lives. We've talked about mentorship, we've talked about our responsibility as society to impact positively, those around us, including students and the youth. So thank you all so much for being here, for turning this conversation around. I'm hoping for more of these conversations as we go forward. And of course, thanks for being on Power Breakfast. We're going to have some more music over to the band now as we wind up the show.